Hello. Okay, Google, describe immunity.
Immunity, the ability of an organism to resist a particular infection or toxin by the action of specific antibodies or sensitized white blood cells.
Okay, Google, define herd immunity.
Herd immunity, the resistance to the spread of a contagious disease within a population that results if a sufficiently high proportion of individuals are immune to the disease, especially through vaccination.
Okay, Google, what is a vaccination?
Vaccination, treatment with a vaccine to produce immunity against a disease, inoculation.
Okay, Google, what are the benefits of vaccination?
According to vaccineinformation.org, vaccination protects children from serious illness and complications of vaccine-preventable diseases, which can include amputation of an arm or leg, paralysis of limbs, hearing loss, convulsions, brain damage, and death. Vaccine-preventable diseases, such as measles, mumps, and whooping cough, are still a threat.
Okay, the reason that I did that is because most people, when they research any kind of information or try to form an opinion, they go on the internet. Everybody has access to smartphones nowadays or a personal computer at home. Oftentimes, the information that they get might be misleading, or they choose to follow what a celebrity says or a blogger or something like that. As you've seen, there's different sites like the CDC has an FAQ talking about the risk and benefits of vaccine for children. So then that way that's proper information. So I'm kind of going to address what the benefits of vaccination are so that you can form your own opinion. I know it's kind of a hot topic right now in healthcare, and that's why I chose this as kind of my research project and presentation. Definitely, I'd encourage everybody to ask questions and get properly informed on anything. So it seems that there's opposing viewpoints on this issue. There's a lot of people that are very pro-vaccination, and then you have a lot of anti-vaccination activists out there as well. The thing is, there are actual research that's going on to back the benefits of vaccinations, especially because it used to be just vaccinations were what was recommended by doctors and parents follow the vaccination schedule. But now there's different thoughts of, oh, could this cause a vaccination reaction? That, and what's the long-term effects of that on my child? Or is there different vaccinations linked to autism and different things like that parents are becoming concerned and therefore choosing not to vaccinate their children. But oftentimes they're not fully informed. So hopefully by the end of this presentation, you'll know where to go to get the information. You'll learn more information about vaccinations themselves. And then that way you can form an idea of what would be best for yourself and for your family. Starting with the Google search, it gave definitions, and the reason I did that is there are some kind of the key points when you talk and think about vaccinations. So pretty much everyone at some point in their life has had a vaccination, whether you're little, it's measles, mumps, rubella. Now they even have the chickenpox vaccine. As you get older, some adults, will get the shingles vaccine. Every year, the flu vaccine. So it all kind of, is a part of people's lives. It's something that even if you haven't been vaccinated, you've known someone or heard about it. So, it should be somewhat familiar. And definitely more so if you have a child because of vaccination schedules and everything, kind of in that realm. Especially with schools, trying to mandate that, to go to school, the children need to be vaccinated. I'm a registered nurse, so having vaccination records and being annually up to date on all my vaccinations is something that I'm required to do for my job. So, of course, I'm very pro because it not only protects me, but it also protects the many patients that I come into contact with while I'm caring for them on a daily basis. And it's all about safety. It keeps me safe, it keeps them safe. Again, the new trend that's emerging is vaccine hesitancy. So what this term is it refers to the concerns about safety and the necessity of vaccines. A lot of times it stems from confusion or misinformation. It leads to children not being vaccinated against vaccine-preventable diseases, and thus preventing them, from getting that immunity, therefore putting them at risk for infection. This also affects herd immunity. We might say, what is herd immunity? Basically, it's the theory that the masses, if you think, or even a small community, it's different levels, are vaccinated. So if you have a cluster of people, say within 100 individuals in a group, say 95% of them are vaccinated, okay? That 5%, just by the fact that the majority is vaccinated, will then in turn be safe because the majority is protected against it. So then therefore they have herd immunity. But then the thing that's happening is because there's this refusal for vaccination, it typically occurs in a cluster geographically. So you get this pocket of under-immunization in that geographical area. These areas in that geographical region typically experience higher rates of vaccine-preventable diseases. A perfect example of this was in 2015 with the Disneyland measles outbreak. Again, in California, California tends to kind of be like an epicenter of kind of anti-vaccination supporters. Which, I mean, everybody has their right to what they want to do, but again, there are risks involved. I mean, granted, they do say, there are risks as far as getting vaccinated, but oftentimes the risk of getting vaccinated is going to outweigh what the child would go through or the individual if they were to actually get the disease that they're trying to be vaccinated against. Again, vaccination is a tricky subject. The CDC has immunization schedules in place, and they've had them in place since 1995. However, in order to protect individual freedom of choice, there are exemptions in place. They're for medical, physiological, or religious reasons. So, as well as, like, say, through the schools, through the doctors, it's basically additional paperwork that you would have to file stating why you want to be exempt. Even in my profession, if for some reason, one of those reasons, a nurse would want to be exempt from getting the flu vaccine, especially down here with our patient populations, flu is something you really need to be protected against. If you choose not to get vaccinated, you have to sign a waiver saying that you are not vaccinated, and pretty much if you have to wear a mask every time that you go into a patient room during flu season. And if you wore a mask for an extended period of time, they're hot, you can't breathe well, not very fun. Once you get vaccinated, you actually get this little green flag on your ID badge stating you've been vaccinated. So it is a really big deal. Just to give another example of kind of like real world how it affects things. So again, it's always a responsibility, I do believe, of the healthcare providers to inform their patients as far as why they should vaccinate, what the risk, benefits, kind of help them weigh and go through things to make an informed decision. But as well, it is the parents or the adult and the individual with certain vaccinations to inform themselves, to know where to go to get proper information. A lot of times, someone hears, like, for instance, with autism and vaccinations, Jenny McCarthy is one that's been out there that is very actively speaking against them because her child has autism. She thinks it was linked. So you get fans of hers that follow that, and all of a sudden their children aren't getting vaccinated. But instead of it being informed by, information from their doctors, from the CDC, things like that, it's based on someone that's their opinion. So always research. Don't just believe the bloggers or the celebrities. Get information from actual medical sources. It's available. I know sometimes it's hard on the internet to always find what's the best resource. But if you're going to resources like the CDC or you're going to the National Institutes of Health, when you look on those sites, you can see almost sometimes a whole page of references where these are medical sources. So it's going to be documented, it's going to be researched, it's going to be tested. You're going to get the right information to then, therefore, make an informed decision. And I guess kind of that's my goal by this. Encourage people to learn, ask questions, but ask them to the right people. Get the information from the correct sources. So just to give some examples, let's see here. So again, about the decreased schedule adherence. So in the case of like the DPT vaccination, most patients are unaware of the fact that it's the old vaccination that had a bunch of adverse effects. They've actually redone the vaccination